Right, there we go. Welcome everybody to our wonderful final webinar of the day. We have with us Stav Dimitriadis, CEO of Twincare, and also yet again Liz McKeon from sunny Ireland, as it is at the moment. And we want to talk to everybody today about how you're going to stimulate business from whenever the lockdown is lifted for salons. Hopefully that will be at the end of the month, and we can all get back to some semblance of normality. So fingers crossed. And I'm also running out, well, I have run out of beer, so that's also a major tragedy. So what I'm hoping is that we can get some good little pointers for people about what to do after the lockdown. I've got a couple of questions to, if either panelist does not answer them in what they have to say, but perhaps maybe ladies first. Maybe Liz, you'd like to introduce yourself and obviously give people a few thoughts of your own first.
Yes, I'm delighted to be here. Yes, all the way from sunny Ireland, where drink is very plentiful. I specialise in salon turnaround and business turnaround in the industry, and I've worked with thousands and thousands of salons over the years. I think I have the experience of a very severe and acute 10-year recession in Ireland previously. And discounting concerns me because so many salons survived and just barely survived by using discounting, and that was absolutely fine. They hit issues trying to come out of it. When business picked back up again, then people were stuck in discounting. And some salons I was working with, it took me nearly a year to actually get them to trade out of it. This is a completely different situation because we're in total lockdown and the salons are closed. And I know there's going to be a tendency to panic and just discount, but you haven't made any money for a few months. Why would you just discount? It's about your bottom line now, and it's about trying to make money and increasing your profit and getting your business back on track. And I'm just concerned that if people rush into discounting, you're going to hold that back. I'm also concerned that the message that discounting gives out is that you might be giving out the message that maybe your business is in trouble. I don't think salons are going to be in trouble. It's the number one service that consumers are going to be rushing back to our salons. So I just would like to put a pause on the discounting.
Okay. Stav,
what I think.
What do you feel?
When I saw Liz was going to talk about discounting, I got a bit nervous because I agree with you 100%. I thought you were going to say, go ahead and discount.
No.
I think it's very important that we build our business for the future. We don't just have to get through the next couple of months. If we all do at this stage, it's looking quite scary, but I think we got to have an eye on where we're going. So, there's a couple of pointers that I would give salons. Is the first thing is you need to stay calm. I mean, a lot of businesses tend to panic under these circumstances, which is totally understandable. Even myself, I think I spent last week, pretty depressed and upset. But for me, you always got to start the process that way. But to get out of it, you need to have some sort of plan. And if you've got a plan, it gives you something to work towards. So that's the first thing I'd suggest to salons is have a plan. A lot of it sounds like, I've heard it 100 before. Of course, I have to have a plan, but have a plan. Sit down and write down the things, what it means for you. The second thing is you need to take control of your business. And what I mean by that is you got to take control of your finances first. You sit down and put your budget down and work out step by step where you can cut. I have gone through this 3 times in my career. In 2000, we lost one of our biggest brands and we had to start the company all over again. And I remember sitting down with a list of expenses. Every expense I went through, I thought, there's no ways I can cut this. There's no ways I can cut this. And I got to the bottom, I was 30% short of what I needed to cut. But when you go and look at the numbers again, there's always a way to cut it. Trust me, I've been through this. And this is what you have to do. You need to sit down, write every single expense in your salon and work on cutting every single one. The next point I'd make is that you need to communicate with your staff and you need to communicate with your clients. I've been getting my staff on a webinar every 2 or 3 days. It makes a huge difference, because if they understand that you as a business owner are in the same position as them, it makes it easier for you to make the tough decisions when you have to cut salaries or retrench or do layoffs or anything like that. And I've seen a big difference. There's nothing worse than they think the boss is sitting, banking money, living the good life, and then retrenching and making them pay for it. So they need to understand, they need to see the dilemmas you have, the challenges you got. Communicating with your clients, I think it's important for them to understand that your business is like theirs and like their lifestyle getting affected. If you've got clients that are loyal to you, they will understand that your salon's been closed. This is your livelihood. Some of them are receiving salaries, salon owners are getting zero. So they will commiserate with you and they'll want to help you. So start having the conversation, like look forward to seeing you back. You know, we'll come up with packages, exciting ideas, because discounting, I think, will send the wrong message. Coming up with exciting packages is, I think, what will get your clients back into the salon. And I think there will be a certain amount of pent-up demand, because I think after any lockdown is lifted, people are going to rush back into salons, because beauty especially is a service that makes you feel better about yourself. Okay. Also, I'd say use this time, and I know a lot of you are doing it. And if you see on this webinar, that's obviously you're doing it, and that is to invest in your skills. Try and learn new things, not only about your industry, but try and learn something a little bit about business, or a little skill you want to learn, how to play guitar, I don't know, whatever works for you. But I think the most important thing is you need to provide leadership for your salon, to your clients, and to your staff. On Saturday, I'm doing a webinar. I know a lot of you might already have accepted. And I'm going to go into a lot more detail in this. But I think the most important thing is if you can show that you're in control of your business. Firstly, it makes you feel better. And secondly, it will give your staff and your clients something to rally around. Okay, because I think your mind set and your attitude will make a big difference. We know that. And then you need to have certain program specific things that you're going to do when you open the salon and communicate that.
Okay.
Not talking too much.
No, that's fine. I was going to ask if any of our viewers can maybe put in the chat box that they have put in place some of the steps that we've just talked about, or whether they're thinking about it, and see what they say. Anything coming through? Anybody want to type anything that they're doing with regard to the steps discussed?
An important thing that I've been thinking about is we need to accept that we're going into a different world when we go back.
Totally.
You sit in your house and I'm in my bedroom because my kids are making noise. So my bed's familiar. I know where my car is parked. I know where my office is. The familiarity of what we've got now is going to be very different to the reality of our business. So we need to understand that first, so we don't go and get shocked. The second thing is, if you expect there to be different changes, then your eyes are open. Because if you can anticipate the changes, or we can't know exactly what our business is going to look like.
No.
But we need to go into this expecting things to be different and being in a mindset to take advantage of these differences. Because that's what's going to determine if we succeed or fail. A lot of businesses are going to fail. But the advantage it's going to create for us as salon owners is, I don't know what it's like in Ireland, but in South Africa, we're in a major shortage of staff. Mm-hmm. So if 10% of the salons close down and that staff is available for other salons, then everyone can get more staff working for them. Mm-hmm. And if 10% of the salons close down, we'll be paying 10% less rent to landlords and bringing more money into salons. So the money the landlords are going to lose out, it'll go back into the salons economy. So there's also advantages. It's hard to find a silver lining, but there are silver linings.
Of course, and that's what people need to focus on rather than panicking, because I think it's worth making the point that that client who's chasing the discount is never going to be loyal to you. That client will keep chasing the discount. So if you discount, they'll go to you, then they'll go to your competitors and they won't be loyal to you. You need the client's loyalty. You need the clients to come back. You need to wow the clients when they walk in, that that you are their first and foremost provider, and they don't want to go anywhere else because you're so good at what you do. That's a much more that's a much better long-term strategy than just discounting, because discounting might fill you up short term, but that is that the client you want, the client that's going to hop from place to place to place looking for value. they're not going to help your business long term. So we need short-term strategies to hold on to the business, you know, once you open, to keep going. But then we need long-term strategies to improve your profitability and get your business back on track. And discounting, in my opinion, is not a good long-term strategy. I totally agree with you. I think you need like good packages, certain deals on certain products or services, all of that, but not to be perceived as the place to go for low value discounting. I think it's salon suicide.
So once you start discounting, guys, how far can you go? You need 10%, 20%, 30%. You know, you need to. I heard a good quote. It says, I'm trying to remember it now. We have no problem with people who undercharge for their services, because who better than they know the value of their work? So you need to be proud of the value that you are providing, but also at the same time, you need to show sensitivity. Just like hopefully they'll say, you know, my salon has been under pressure, they've been closed, I want to go and support them. They also, when they walk in, they want to know that you're taking their hygiene seriously. So obviously that's going to be a given. And secondly, you want to find a way to help them. Just one of the things, because I think communication, you know, a lot of these webinars that I've sat on, they all talk about communication. They're 100% right. There's different ways you can communicate with your clients. The kind of thing that I would do specifically in beauty, I would put little short 1-minute videos. Hi guys, I know you're at home. Here's a little tip on how to look after your skin at home. You know, you can do fun things. You can say, I'm bored at home. I can't wait to see you. I think communication and putting a bit of fun into it and giving them advice, you want them to engage with you, and you want them to engage with you personally.
I think what you're saying there is really, really valid, because if you don't keep in touch with your clients now, you're going to be so far behind, because you'll have been out of touch with them. Business will start again, and then you've got to start your marketing and communicating with them then you're going to be 3 or 4 months behind where everybody else is. And history has shown that more people go out of business when the recession lifts than during it. So, you know, we get through this, and we're all in this together. The whole world is in this together. So we'll get through this together. But where you need to be very careful is when you open your doors. And now is when you get ready. I don't know how long this is going to go on for, but now is when you get ready for your doors to open. And you must stay in front of your clients. It is just imperative, because history again has shown that the businesses that do not communicate with their clients during downturns are the first to go. And you can't sell at the moment because, you know, well, you might have products to sell, but you're not selling your services right now. So you keep in touch with them and let them know that you care about them, that you're there, how you can help them. You stay number one in their minds. And I think that's how you save your business.
Correct.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Hooray for that. So, could one of you explain to our audience the difference between discounting and added value, as in why discounting affects your bottom line so much more than added value, I suppose, is what I get asked that now and again.
Okay.
Liz, can I jump in, or are you happy?
You fire ahead and I go after.
Okay. All right. Well, I can tell you my opinion is, if I was going to do promotions, I would turn to my suppliers and ask them to support it. So that does not hurt your margin. Secondly, you know, I think the discount thing is overexposed. Everyone's giving discounts. So if you say, come in and get a 10% discount, it's not that meaningful. But if you say, come into my salon and you'll get this particular product, this bag or this extra cleanser, that is tangible and is real. I'll tell you a little story of what happened to me in Hong Kong a couple of years ago. I went into a clothing store and I bought some clothing, and I went to pay at the counter, and the lady at the counter said to me, sir, if you spend another, I don't know, $100 or $50, whatever it was, you can get this free bag. So I said, I definitely want the free bag. So I went and spent the extra money. Then I went home and looked at the bag. It was the crappiest. I mean, I saw it. They didn't hide it from me. And I thought, what was I thinking? I got 1 million bags. I got hooked with the way I sometimes hook you clients. so it's real. I think if you gift with purchase, it's a tangible thing that you can understand, and you put immediate value to it. Discounts, just discount your service, and they probably think themselves, if I discounted, if I got this discount now, why can't I get the discount next time? And why didn't I get this discount before? So I think it just hurts your margin. It's just not, it's a lazy promotion. Yes. I think you just give discounts.
So added value, I don't do services anymore, but I spend a lot of time in salons as a client, as well as through my work. And added value doesn't affect your bottom line. It doesn't hurt your bottom line, but it has a greater perceived value in the client's mind, like the crappy bag that you got. When you got it at the time, it had a perceived value of, wow, I have this bag, and it's like a premium product. So an added value is much more effective than discounting, because it makes the client feel a lot better within themselves, and it makes them feel like they're being taken care of. So you can be clever and careful about your added value, where it looks like it's a lot to the client, but it's not costing you anything extra in terms of time or money, particularly if you get your suppliers on board with you. So it's a much more effective way of helping the client, helping your suppliers, and indeed helping your bottom line. So like a simple added value to me one day was, I was it was in the winter, and I was having a facial done. I was doing a mystery client shop or something like that. And the therapist at the end of the facial said, Liz, would you like a drink of water? And I said, yeah, sure. But I was really sort of thinking to myself, it's a bit cold for water. But you know what, she came back with the nicest glass of fruit juice, and you know, in a really nice glass, really nicely presented. It cost her nothing. But to me, the client in the bed, that just felt, that made me feel so much more taken care of and so much more important. It costs, you know, what did it cost her? A carton of orange juice. That's where added value, I think, is a much better way to go than discounting. And think about it, like, you know, I try not to go to McDonald's every so often, you know, but every so often they'll say, you know, do you want an added, or what's that big meal thing? Like, it's only a few extra fries, cost them nothing, but you know, you've all this food in front of you that you can't really eat, and it's cost you a tiny little extra. You never say no. You don't say no to the added value thing, do you?
Absolutely.
So yeah, definitely worth exploring. Again, it's great we're on the same page, and we've never met before, but I would definitely think, yes, go for added value. In my book, and I send a lot of books to South Africa, I have a phrase, and it's not mine. It's from Maya Angelou, the great American writer. Customers will forget what you've said, they'll forget what you've done, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. Now, if you're discounting to me, that doesn't make me feel great, but if you really add value and really take care of me, and I feel amazing leaving your business, that I just can't wait to tell other people about you, and I can't wait to come back, then why would you discount?
Yeah.
So it's to make sure that I have that wow feeling every time I leave your business.
Yeah, I think my feeling has always been that service is added value, and if you are giving a great service, that is perceived by many people as the added value, that's the reason they're going to you and what they appreciate about your premises. I mean, certainly always with if I go out for a meal, if the food isn't that great, I don't mind if the service was tip top and attentive, and you know, it made you feel special. But I suppose also it is things like the little gift bag or whatever it might be when somebody's going up to settle their bill or what have you, is always a nice touch as well. Particularly if there's a little surprise in there as well, or even things like a thank you note. I think people appreciate that much more. The other thing that I was thinking about with communication, I don't know whether salons do this, but obviously they can send out messages from the business, but I wonder whether they also get the actual therapists to contact the client list as well, because obviously all the therapists have regular clients that only want that particular therapist to do the
relationship.
Exactly, and whether people do that is something that, it seems an obvious one. Obviously, with the shutdown, not every therapist has access to the internet, etc. But you know, again, maybe people should make a plan to enable that. Perhaps, I don't know.
I think so, and I think it should be personalised to the client, that you're not just getting this random message that you know 100 other clients have got, that it has your name on it, and there's something specific in there that makes people know that, you know, you took the time and trouble. Again, referring back to my book, I always insist that I write a greeting card to everybody who gets my book, and I write the card, and it's different, say something different to everybody. And I know it's only a tiny little thing and it's only like 30 seconds out of my time, but it's my way of saying thank you. And I think it's really, really important that salon owners, because they can't carry every single client. They can really only carry the clients that they're working on. So it's very important that the habits that they have, that they teach it to the team members that they're working with. And yes, I mean, customer service is how you look after me before, during, and after the service. And our competition is not just other salons, it's department stores, pharmacies, everywhere else. They're not going to ring me and say, Liz, how are you getting on with the cleanser and the toner that you got with us last week? Yeah, it's all about the personal contact. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Phil, you spoke about, restaurants. I'm sure you've all had the experience that at the end of the evening, after you've paid the bill, the owner comes over and says, hi guys, I got you a little shooter each, and actually has it there with you. Makes a big difference. You feel special. I mean,
Yes.
I've obviously grown up in marketing, and it works for me too.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they take the trouble. And one of the things that you can do as a salon is, if you haven't done the service yourself and the consumer walks out, just before they walk out, just go up to them, shake their, I don't know, maybe I don't want to touch people anymore, but just put your hand on their shoulder and say, I really appreciate your support. It'll mean more under the current circumstances, because everybody knows that everybody else is in the same boat and everyone's under pressure. And I just want to see Joanna ask the question, what about special offers? Book a facial and get a complimentary wax for free. 100%. I mean, that's a gifted purchase. You're getting extra value.
Mm-hmm. And your client is in and they're there. Yes. Yeah. And the chances are they will book the waxing. The next time they book, they'll book the facial and the waxing again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the other thing that I was thinking of is, obviously a lot of businesses have things like some sort of loyalty scheme. And I was just wondering how easy that is to set up, whether it's a benefit, because obviously there's an awful lot of businesses that do offer loyalty schemes, from petrol stations to Woolworths and other things. Is it something that, again, salons should be thinking about?
Well, we got the on the hairdressing side, we got the Usplush salons. So we own a group of hairdressing salons, and we're introducing it now. I think if you look at just about any industry now, everybody's offering loyalty cards, and I think it's almost expected, because if you're going to get something back, you say, well, why should I go to the salon down the road where I'll go get a better or similar service to the one around the corner, and I get something back. There are programs, talking about the setup, there's a program that we use, it's called My Appointment. If anybody's interested, I can get the details to them. And you can make appointments through an app in the salon, so you don't even need a reception. You need a reception, but you don't need a reception to make an appointment. And that's got a loyalty program linked to it. I mean, to go and spend, and I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, $500-600 a month for both functionality of the program. So I think that's a good thing to look into.
Sorry, Liz.
Sorry for interrupting you. When I haven't had a salon for a long time, but the last salon that I had, I used to, every so often, I used to keep a track. And I didn't even do this on the software. I just kept it in my notebook, and I just would always ask clients who recommended them. And if somebody was sending me in a good few clients, when she was in getting her facial done, at the end of the facial, every so often I'd say, you know what, you're after sending me 5 people this month. I'm not charging you. And I cannot tell you the goodwill that would have generated. And I was doing it because I meant to thank you, because she saved me so much money in terms of marketing, just word of mouth. And also it was saying to me I was doing my work properly. So I would just say, honestly, no charge for today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If she sent me in 5 customers, if I gave her that goodwill, she could send me in 20 new people the following month, because just saying no charge today and thank you just made her feel so good. The word of mouth that generated for me was just tremendous. So I think that's a much better way to go, and people know when you're being genuine. I think that's a much better route to take than the discounting.
Yeah, and of course, a free facial, that's cost you mainly your time, because the actual product that you're using is fairly low. Because that was the other thing I was wondering about, is what people can decide on as the reward for the loyalty of whatever it is, of how many visits it might be, or what I'm, is there a structure that is a particularly good route to go down, or is it just up to any particular salon owner?
Phil, the one we use is monetary. So you get R2 for every 100 that you spend. And R2, if they're regular clients, it starts adding up pretty quickly. You can get bigger discounts if you want, or bigger money backs. You don't want to con people or make them feel like it's a scam. Some salons do. If you come for 10 visits, I'll give you a gift for free, and you give them that discontinued orange nail lacquer that you can't sell. I mean, that's not the right.
No.
My opinion is you should have some sort of loyalty scheme. If you can do what Liz said, that is by far the best, because at the end of the day, we're in a people business. But if your business is too big and you've got too many staff, no one's going to care about your clients or the business the way you do. Then it becomes more complicated. But regardless, even if you have that loyalty scheme, I can tell you, you do that once or twice with your clients that spend a lot of money. Say, Mrs. Whatever, you come here every week, you support my salon. I really want to give something back. I want to do a facial on you, and I'm going to personally do it. I think you cannot beat that.
I have a suggestion to add on to that, though, again, because as a consumer, for the nature of my work in and out of salons all the time, I find sometimes people don't communicate about the loyalty scheme effectively. If I'm a new client in a new salon, that's a selling point, and I should be told about that fairly early on in my service. I should be told about it perhaps at the consultation stage, not when I'm walking out the door. And I find sometimes people go a little bit wrong with that. I'm walking out the door and then they start handing me, here's a fob and talking about points and I haven't a clue what they're talking about. And they're a little bit uncomfortable speaking about it. So I think it's one thing that I would actually put on people's to-do list when you're working with your teams, in little staff meetings during the current time, during the lockdown. That would be one thing I would say. Let's just take our loyalty scheme and let's really make it into a really unique selling point. How are we all going to talk about it? When are we going to slot it into the customer service journey? Everybody practice it and say it until we all get comfortable and we have a really good way so that everybody's excited about it, because it is exciting for clients.
Yeah, Liz, the problem we have with all staff is you tell them something, they'll nod and they'll say they'll do it. They might do it for the next 2 or 3 clients and they forget. So for me, and this is how I try to run my business, I try to let systems run my business.
Yes.
To rely as little on human input as possible. So, these kind of programs, they've got the ability that when somebody arrives at reception and, they want to have the service done, the software system puts everything in place. So all you need to do is tell the client about it, because the system tells you to ask them. And then the system collates the plans. They can go and check how many points they got. It tells them how to redeem it. So if you take as much of the human factor out as possible and focus on the human side, is how you touch and how you speak to clients, it'll make it easier for your staff, because, people get busy and, they start focusing all the wrong things and they forget what to do. So for me, you've got to try and get system. That's why this online appointment system, I think, is key. I'll just tell you my experience on social media and, digitizing my business. I was not a big convert, and I'm 57 years old. So 10 years ago, everyone was telling me about Facebook and getting apps and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, what? People aren't into that. They're happy to take their appointments in the book. Who really watches Facebook and who buys online? And you know what happened? I realized a couple of years ago is my generation is starting to do it, but it's not a big way. It's not a big habit in how we shop. But what I realized is the kids that were 30 or 20, 10 years ago are the ones that understand technology, and they are becoming the consumers that are spending the money. So if us old bullets don't find a way to engage with them in the way they want to be engaged, we're going to fall behind. So we have no choice but to find a way to introduce all the apps, things we're not comfortable with. So if you are slightly older and you don't know what an app means and you don't know how to start a loyalty program, get your 9-year-old son or daughter to come and show you how, because that's what I do now.
But now people have the time to learn.
Yeah, correct, 100%. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just noticed HEMA is asking about the best app program for these schemes, and you mentioned My Appointment, Stav. Yeah. There are also several others like ESP. that operate in that area, and I would suggest Google is a good start, or our own online directory on probeauty.co.za. Go to the directory and you can just search there in the search box for computer systems or whatever, and it will throw them up as well. But there are some good programs out there that I do know.
Yeah, or you can email me, guys. I can make some suggestions. I know of 3 that
there you
can
go.
do pretty well.
Yeah, and I'm sure they all advertise in Professional Beauty magazine as well.
Of course.
I think the point about the systems that I observe is that, and again, this is something maybe to use this current time for, learn how to use your system properly. Not just as an appointment system. Learn how the reports work, learn how useful they are. Allocate time every week that you sit down to work on your business and that you review your reports and make sure that everybody is using the system to its full advantage, because that would be an observation of mine, that people get the systems in a little bit afraid of them, don't learn them. And you know, they really are business development function, a lot of business development functions on them that are so useful, but you've got to learn how to use it all.
Just know how to do them,
yeah. Okay, so one thing that I was thinking about was, you know, we've got all these salons now, they've got their ideas about what they're going to do post lockdown. They're all going to be on Facebook and their local marketing channels, whatever they might be. Any thoughts or suggestions on how they might stand out from the crowd?
Again, you know, if somebody in your family member posts something on Facebook, you will look at it. And if your friend posts something on Facebook, you'll look at it. People who don't know, you're just going to scroll past it. So if you can find a way to personally reach out to your clients in a fun way and a motivational way and an informative way, because you can do different types of communication for all 3 of those, then I think it will make a difference. You know, for me, I always have a fight with my staff when they put an advert of one of our products and they take a cleanser and they put a nice rose next to it. It's meaningless. It's just a nice picture. So you've all done that. You scroll through your Facebook, you see it, you just scroll right past it. You're going to notice the brand name. It's a waste of time. But if I have to put a monkey suit on, start jumping around with the product, I might make a fool of myself, but you'll remember the video. Again, I'm not suggesting you do that. What I'm saying is you need to find a way to engage. So look at the kind of posts that engage you and try and adapt those posts to how you should engage with your clients.
Definitely. And I
this
think
is a people's business. I can't say that enough. You need to make your clients your friends. Yes. You know, I started in this industry 30 years ago, and I started as a sales rep. And I think that the relationships I made with my clients 30 years ago, I've still got today. And when I engage with them, they engage with me personally. Obviously, they love my products. If they didn't like me, they would not be loyal to my company. So you need to have that attitude. You know, all this crap people talk about, client is king, the client who is right. It's real. You know, people want to be engaged on a personal level.
I think now is also a time to show off all the knowledge, all the information, all the advice that you have, all the years you spent learning how to do all that. I think you can position yourself now for the position that you want to have in the marketplace when things reopen. So out there with information, with advice, and that personal connection that people know you really do care about them.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, as you know, we publish a magazine, and sometimes I look at the adverts that are sent in, and I think, what's the message? And
exactly.
You know, what is the product actually going to do for me? It's all about the benefit. And as you say, if a monkey suit works to get the message across, to attract the attention, then I always think of the Nando's adverts that we get over here. You know,
absolutely.
They're not worried about selling the product. Yeah, it's getting that brand out there, and everybody is a brand. As you rightly say, Stav, if the clients like you, they will buy from you.
Absolutely.
Okay. So is there any last little nuggets of value that either of you wanted to offer?
Well, I think my message through all of this is to really, and I know we're all in this together, and it's like we're kind of, in this voyage of discovery, because this has never happened, and it's just totally unprecedented. But it's to decide, what am I in control of and what am I not in control of.
Yeah,
and
100%.
I am not in control of, I know it's horrendous what's going on, but I am not in control of that virus. There is nothing I can do except try and keep myself safe from it. But I'm not in control of what's going on outside in the economy. I am very much in control of my thinking, what I do with my time. I'm in control of my own business, and I think it's to be very disciplined with ourselves, to just say, right, what am I in control of, and work on that, and not to let the fear about what's going on around us and the economy be overwhelming. So that would be my advice.
You stole my thunder. It's exactly what I was going to
say.
Well done.
Well, you can repeat it in your way.
Yeah, I think the point is, certain things you can control, certain things you can't control, but it's what you do when you get back. Mm-hmm. And I think you need to have a learning mindset or an aware mindset, because things are going to be different. We're not exactly sure what that means, but you need to have your eyes open, so when the changes come, you can adapt to them very quickly.
Yeah, I think from my point of view, it's made everybody accept that they have to use the digital media a lot more while we're in the lockdown, and that will probably continue. People are more used to it. They're more used to this sort of thing. We have a couple of questions I've just noticed, from Gina, who says, if I contact a client post-lockdown and they say, oh, I can't afford treatments anymore, is there anything I can say to entice them back? And the other one is, thank you for all your wonderful advice and input. Much appreciated. Oh, well. So thank you, Meg, for that. Back to Gina's question. Any thoughts?
I can tell you what I would do, because we're having this kind of issues with our clients at the moment. You look at the client. If it's a loyal client, what I would do, I'll say, you know what, we've all going through a difficult time. If you come on Monday afternoon when I'm quiet, I will do your service for free. Because believe me, you do that once, they'll feel obliged to come back. And sometimes you just got to give stuff away, there's a time to be generous, and there's a time to not only focus on profit. And I think this is probably the time.
Okay.
I would totally agree, and I would just add that mostly I find it's the people in the salons that worry about people not having money more so than the clients. The clients will be upfront about it. You could ring 100 clients and perhaps one will say, I can't afford it. And then I think, yes, well then please, we've always, valued your custom, please do come in. But, how many of them are going to say that? Very few. But I think if you're going on the phone worrying about that, you're almost bringing it on yourself. I think people would be thrilled to hear from you, delighted to know that you're open, and just delighted. Like, I bumped into my hairdresser on the beach last week when I was out for a walk. And I said to her, oh, don't even call me to know when I have to come back. Just text me and tell me when I'm coming. And I don't care if it's the middle of the night, I'll coming. Be there. So I think not to be worrying about what clients will think or what they'll say. You just be the best version of yourself and offer them an appointment and go from there.
Right. Good.
If you don't mind, can I put my email address on?
Yep, of course you can, Stav.
Okay, the reason I'm doing it, guys, I'm doing a webinar on Saturday at 9:30. I had a few people saying to me, why are you doing it on a Saturday? And I said, why? What are you going to be doing that you haven't been doing the last couple of weeks? So I think I'm going to touch on some of these topics, but I'm also going to try and get into more specific things like, how can I, what approach do I suggest with landlords? What are the options that we have locally with our government as far as laying off staff, retrenching staff, putting them on reduced hours, or finding different ways of restructuring my business. I'm going to cover all those sort of type of issues. So if you want to join, then just send me an email and I'll send you the link.
Thank you, Stav. We've got one last question. Is it an option to give them a slight discount to cover your products mainly or not?
Guys,
No.
we're not saying you mustn't discount. I think use it intelligently.
Yeah.
I think you need to say to yourself, every time you do something in your business, you need to say, what is my goal? So there is a time to discount. Let's assume that client that we spoke about earlier can't afford your treatments. You don't have to give it for free. Say, Mr. Smith, come in, I will give you one for free. Or pay for one, I'll give you one free. I mean, there's a lot of different ways. You've got to try and adapt your promotions or whatever you're doing to achieve a certain outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, what you're trying to achieve is to stay in business in the long term.
Yes.
So ask yourself the question, is what I'm doing now going to ensure that I make money in the future? Because we love our clients, we love our suppliers, but if you're out of business, that story comes to an end.
Yeah.
So you need to stay profitable. So ask yourself the question, what will give me the best long-term results?
Yeah. I mean, my thought always is, you discount at one time, the client comes back, they will then say, well, you gave it to me at 20% off last time, so why not this time? Which is always an extra stumbling block then that you have to overcome.
Yeah, correct, Phil. You see, that's where the circumstances are important. So for me to give a 10% discount, it's meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I gift with purchase. But again, look at circumstances. You've got a client that can't afford it. You give a 10% discount, she'll give an excuse that you haven't achieved anything. You give it to her for free, or you give her a meaningful discount, an 80% or 50% discount. You're achieving something different. You haven't made money. You're not going to make money from her anyway. She's not going to come. So if you do nothing, she won't come to your salon. If you do something and spend a little bit of your time, a little bit of cream here and there, it might cost you, I don't know, a couple of hundred, or not even like 50 Rand or whatever. But at least you got a chance of getting the client back. Where if you don't do anything, you got a 100% chance of getting nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Good. Okay. Well, yes, agreed. Not losing a client is key. Good. Okay. If there is no more questions, I can't see anything coming through.
I sent the email address that had come through. It's stavpriv@twinkit.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah,
the people, if you, the lady Hermina, if you look further up, if you go into the chats, my email is there.
Yeah. Or we can always let you know, Ema, if you.
Yeah. Well, it's easy. It's Stav, S-T-A-V, Priv, as in private, but only the first 4 letters. stavpriv@twincare.co.za.
There you go. This broadcast is going to be available on YouTube as well. We are recording it. So people can find the link once we put it up in the next 24 hours. Also, don't forget, there is the virtual video exhibition also on our website, where you can check out some of Stav's brands and a few others as well.
Please.
And compare and contrast. So there we go. Thank you both for an informative chat. I think it's been good value. And
Pleasure.
We will see everybody again tomorrow. We have another program of events, so they're on the website. So please join us then. Thank you all.
Hey, thank you, Liz. Nice to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too. Hopefully we'll meet again.
Enjoy the
Thank
sunshine.
you.
Cheers.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.